In this video, I'm going to be going through how to set up the CNC router for a cut. I'm going to go right from the very beginning so that you can hopefully see all of the steps, and I try not to miss anything out that's really important. Ideally, by the time you've seen this video, you should have had me run through this with you and show you a setup prior to doing it, so that you have some understanding as to what the machine can do and how it works. Okay, first of all, we need to turn the machine on. Now, down under here, there is actually a switch. There's not very much light in here, so you probably can't see it. That can turn the machine on. You don't really need to be able to see it. You just need to be able to reach in under there and turn that switch. Now, it won't sound like much has happened, but the machine now has power going to it. You then need to take the blue cord and plug that into the port on your laptop. Okay, that's now all plugged in. To turn the machine on properly, I need to actually open up the software that's going to run the machine for us, which is called Mark III Loader. So if I double click on that, we then want the profile to be the John Curtin profile. And now you can hear that the machine has got a little bit more noise going to it. Sounds like there's something going on with the motors, all the rest. Okay, the very first thing you need to do is to click this reset button. That's flashing over here. That just means that you can now actually do stuff with it, so you have to do that. Next, I recommend you do a ref all home. Okay, we never leave the machine in the home position because we can't reach the on-off switch when it's in the home position. So it's always really important that we move it away from that position before we turn the machine off or disconnect it. Okay, clicking on ref all home, and that's going to now send the machine back to its zero position so it knows where everything is. Alright, once that's there, all of those next to it will have now turned green rather than being red. Okay, so that now means that the machine is ready to go. We can now jog this. Now to jog this, I'm just using these keys here. Okay, to go left and right, or X and Y axes essentially. So if I'm pressing the X up, that's what's going on. If I press the right arrow, that's moving that head across there. Okay, now if I need to go up and down with the cutter, I need to actually turn my number lock on. So I need to hold down the function key and press my scroll number lock. And now I have that light on next to that. On my keyboard, I can then use the L key, which has got the 3 to go down, and then the number 9 to go back up. And that's how I move around my machine. So I'm going to bring it over to where I've got some lines marked out. You can see I've made some very faint marks on the table there. And that's just so that I can line up with something that's roughly square to get me started. Now all of that dust that's on there, that needs to go because that's going to prevent my piece from sitting flat. Alrighty. So before I can put that in, I need to clean all of that away, preferably with a broom rather than my hands. And I can put my piece in. Now if I'm really fussy and I really need it to be properly done, then I'm going to actually use something better than just my marking to line it up. But for now, that is good. And I can then clamp it in place with these clamps here. Now I'm going to need to use all 4 of them. I don't want them to be on my piece too much, but I do need them to still hold down quite well, and that back end there needs to not be sitting in this slot. Okay, so I can come around this side and clamp that one there down, and as you can see there's a bit of a gap happening under there because it's starting to lift on that side there. These clamps I can slide out of that slot into this one here, and that's just far enough across, otherwise I'd need to, need to move it further across. Do the same with this one here. Okay, so that one there is really only just touching it. It's probably going to cause some damage to that if I'm not careful, but otherwise that's nice and secure. I can't move that around. Okay, so that's our basic setup for my material in the machine and how to run the CNC router software for jogging your tools around. A couple more things to note with this one here. If I want to change how the rate at which I jog my tools, I can do that by pressing the tab button, and that brings this extra little screen up. Pressing the tab button also then removes that and takes it back. On this here, I can then come down to jog mode and click on that. Now it only goes between continuous and step, and every time you click on it, it goes from one to the next. And we are normally on continuous. If I go to step, now every time I press one of the buttons, I'm just going to press the right arrow to move the router to the right in the x-axis. So you should actually see the x-axis number value move as well. Every time I press that button, it moves 0.1 of a millimeter. Okay, and it does that because up here in the cycled job step, that's been set to 0.1 of a millimeter, which is our standard one as well. When you're on continuous, you just hold it down and it continues to run rather than you having to tap the button, okay, which is the difference between the two. For just general jogging around, we use the continuous. When we're setting our tool, X, Y, and Z values, we use the step. Okay, so that is the main setup for that as well. Okay, and that's pretty much the main setup, and that's all I should really need to run through with you for making sure that you've got a handle on that kind of stuff. Alrighty, thank you.